fifth win of the year. Padres dropped the final two games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits and 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer has a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits and 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer has a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits and 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddux. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddox has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddox. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are front-runners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddox. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, and was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are frontrunners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddox. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are frontrunners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddox. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.TV beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a 3-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight against Padres veteran Greg Maddux. First pitch set for 7:05 in San Diego. Boston had Thursday off to travel after taking 2 of 3 from the Atlanta Braves. In Wednesday's series finale, J.D. Drew led off the game with a solo homer, the first of 5 long balls for the Sox that day, culminating in an 11-0 shutout. Julian Tavares allowed just 3 hits in 7 innings to earn his 5th win of the year. Padres dropped the final 2 games of their series versus the struggling Baltimore Orioles, including a 6-3 loss Wednesday. San Diego bullpen couldn't keep the game within reach, giving up 3 earned runs in relief of David Wells. Wells had his own problems, surrendering 10 hits in 6 1/3, but was saddled with his 5th loss. Daisuke Matsuzaka has lost 3 of his last 4 starts, despite allowing just 4 earned runs over his last 3 outings. Matsuzaka tossed 7 shutout innings at the San Francisco Giants last Saturday in a 1-0 Boston victory. The first-year right-hander struck out 8 and allowed just 3 hits. Matsuzaka has pitched at Petco Park before. Remember, he was named MVP of the inaugural World Baseball Classic there on March 20th, 2006, after helping Japan win the title. Greg Maddux is having yet another strong season with wins in 6 of 9 and a solid .390 ERA. The surefire Hall of Famer is a perfect 5-0 against Boston in 7 career starts and has been a tough pitcher to take deep. Maddux has allowed just 5 homers in 85 1/3 innings this season. Boston will be without the services of Curt Schilling for at least 2 weeks. The right-hander was placed on the 15-day DL with a sore right shoulder. J.D. Drew is day-to-day with a sore right quad after hitting a homer and a double in his first 2 at-bats on Wednesday. Rumors continue to swirl around baseball that the Padres are frontrunners to trade for Reds outfielder Adam Dunn. Padres did make a deal this week, swapping catchers with the Chicago Cubs. Michael Barrett will be available to skipper Bud Black tonight after hitting .256 with 9 homers for the Cubs. It's the Red Sox and Padres tonight. Matsuzaka versus Maddox. Game time set for 7:05 in San Diego. You can see it live on MLB.tv beginning at 10 Eastern. The American League East leading Boston Red Sox open a three-game series on the road against National League West leading San Diego Padres. Daisuke Matsuzaka gets the nod tonight.
Route to amassing the best record in baseball. The Red Sox had a torrid April, an outstanding May. They seem to have come back down a little closer to earth in the month of June.
They're just well-rounded. When you look at this Boston Red Sox team, every aspect of this ball club produces. They've got the power. They've got the starters. In Daisuke tonight, we're going to see that act. They've got the great bullpen. And they've stayed relatively healthy. Kurt Schilling is now on the shelf for the Red Sox, but guys like Beckett, guys like Daisuke tonight, and guys in the lineup, Matty, when you look at this lineup, there's not really one guy that can really pitch on. They've got a lot of firepower, and they can score some runs also.
It's going to be a lot of firepower for Greg Maddux to try to contain tonight, something he's been able to do in his career against the Red Sox. In fact, the 41-year-old four-time Cy Young Award winner has never lost to Boston.
Talking about this Boston lineup, as I just mentioned, with the firepower, you've got guys like David Ortiz, Manny Ramirez. These guys like the fastball. Of course, Greg Maddux throws the fastball, but it's a different fastball. If Greg Maddux can locate that sinker on the outside part of the plate for the righties, straighten him up like the left-handers, and he's on his game, stays out of the heart of the plate, he should have some success against this fastball-loving hitting team in the Boston Red Sox.
You mentioned Ramirez and Ortiz. They're a combined 0 for 11 against the Padres starter tonight. Who opposes Maddux on the other side of the Saquon starting pitching matchup? We've already talked about him a lot tonight since we took air a little while ago. Right-hander Daisuke Matsuzaka, perhaps en route to Rookie of the Year honors in the American League, looking for his 9th winner of the year here tonight. Sold out, loud. Petco Park has been invaded by Red Sox Nation. San Diego tries to respond. It's the series opener coming up next. For certainly a lot longer than just the past couple of days when that schedule was put out back in November of 2006. One of the first things that caught people's eye was the Red Sox and Padres in this weekend in June downtown in San Diego. It's been long since sold out. 3 straight sellouts for the weekend after San Diego dropped 2 of 3 against Baltimore to start this interleague homestand. Big Papi and the Red Sox will try to compound San Diego's home misery here this weekend.
And on 80s Retro Night, you see the Wade Boggs, Roger Clemens circa 1986 uni for the Boston Red Sox.
Taking a look at Boston's 1 through 9, brought to you by Rico. Move your ideas forward with Rico. Dependability, some active hitting streaks. Crisp has hit in 7 in a row. Ramirez and Youkilis 5 straight, as Greg Maddux is ready to go to work on the mound for San Diego tonight.
Well, if there's one guy who loves the big crowd, he's pitching World Series, he's pitching All-Star games, he gets locked in, and if Greg Maddux is locked in against this Red Sox team, it should be fun for everybody.
I don't know that I can recall Petco Park being louder at 7:05, and that includes playoff games here. Red Sox Nation is in full force. In fact, they explain why this game was sold out so long ago. As Coco Crisp on 0-1 fouls off to nothing in one pitch to make it 0-2. And to make it for an even more fun atmosphere tonight, it is one of the turn back the clock evenings downtown, as the Padres and Red Sox wear 1980s uniforms. 1984 being celebrated on the field tonight. And the 0-2 to Coco Crisp is lined back into central. Coco Crisp stays hot. He extends his hitting streak to 8 straight in his first chance. Take a look at San Diego's defense, sponsored by Ocean's 11 Casino. Joining Sunday morning for the famous brunch, only $7. Note some of the changes. Kevin Kuzminoff got back into the lineup yesterday in the day game against Baltimore. He'll start in back-to-back affairs. And Russell Branyan once again in left. Michael Barrett making his second start behind the plate as a Padre tonight.
Bud Black, the manager, a big fan of Michael Barrett. He thinks it's an upgrade going behind home plate with Michael Barrett.
Crisp running on the first pitch, and he steals second base. Number 14 for Coco Crisp, and Boston has a runner in scoring position as folks are still getting in here from the parking lots.
Oh, pretty good jump off Greg Maddux, and Greg Maddux has said before he wants to concentrate on his delivery and focusing on a good pitch. You look up at the scoreboard, no balls, 1 strike. He is ahead, but for Boston, they have that runner in scoring position with some speed in Coco Crisp.
So 0-1 the count to Dustin Pedroia, who also comes here hot. Pedroia bunting. Maddux has to dive on it and get him at first base. It was like Greg was trying to bounce on a ping pong ball in a windstorm there. The sacrifice works. Crisp to third with 1 away.
Well, Pedroia, a guy who can handle the bat well with good bat control. He does a nice job bunting and getting that guy over. Now, this is where you get into the situation with the Red Sox. You get some firepower and some tough outs in the lineup.
Michael Barrett goes out to chat with Greg, perhaps to buy him a moment. Greg might have knocked the wind out of himself when he went down onto his belly to make that play. And he'll want to have all his wind for this assignment as David Ortiz stands in with a runner at third. Is it David Ortiz or is it Mr. T? The scoreboard people will take liberties with every player's photograph tonight. No making fun of anything Big Papi does on the field. One of the most feared power hitters in baseball. And for that reason, in part, the Padres play the exaggerated shift, loading up the right side of the infield.
David Ortiz with those numbers trying to make Boston the A team tonight in Game 1 of the series.
The 0-1 from Maddux. Jam shot, line softly to second. The shift works. Greg Maddux broke David Ortiz's bat with an 85-mile-an-hour fastball, and Big Papi can't believe it. He looked at the shillelagh as if to say, how did that happen?
I think it's because of the movement. As I mentioned earlier, we take a look at the pitch track. Carlos String, that looked like a little cutter, Matty. Or maybe a little slider. Got it in just enough to have that weak fly ball to the right side. A huge out. But don't shut your toolbox. Another big hitter coming up for Boston.
Manny Ramirez also in the midst of a hitting streak. He's batted safely in 5 in a row. 0 for 8 in his career against Greg Maddux. And a fastball is in for strike 1. Oh yes, they are here and they are loud and they are having a good time in San Diego. Red Sox Nation invaded downtown starting at 10-11 a.m. today. 0-1 the count to Manny Ramirez. For Greg Maddux, this is his 8th start career against the Red Sox. All but one of his previous 7 had come as an Atlanta Brave. The one he made as a Cub, the most recent, last June. And he's got Manny behind 0-2. A winner his last time out against Boston, June of 05. So 5-0 with a mid-3 ERA and 7 starts against this uniform.
This is playoff atmosphere, Matt.
Well, Greg Maddux hasn't missed the strike zone yet. 9 pitches, all for strikes, and he's got Manny Ramirez 0-2 with a runner at third and 2 gone. Ramirez lines to right field. The ball well hit, but playable for Jose Cruz Jr. Welcome to San Diego, man, Ram. We got a lot of room out there now, and we got a guy that plays it right. Red Sox turned away in the first. Marcus Giles, Jose Cruz, and Adrian Gonzalez lead it off. Mike Cameron, Michael Barrett, and Khalil Green 4 through 6. Russell Branyan, Kevin Kuzminoff, and Greg Maddux rounded out for San Diego. A couple of American League expatriates in that lineup. Yet everybody is getting a live and in-person look at Daisuke Matsuzaka for the first time 60 feet 6 inches away. His numbers are brought to you by the accident and injury attorneys at the Pacific Law Center. Last time around for Daisuke, he snapped a 3-game losing streak in defeating the Giants in a 1-0 shutout. The 8 wins represents one of the higher totals in the junior circuit, ties him for 5th best in the American League.
But this guy likes to throw even more. He has a fastball, a cutter, a slider, a curveball, a changeup, and a split. He throws everything but the kitchen sink up there. And with all the publicity out there, you know, hitters start to gear up against the right-hander as they follow the schedule and know when he's going to pitch. A lot of enthusiasm at the ballpark tonight, and I'm sure the Padres hitters are geared up to face the right-hander.
Marcus Giles 3 for 12 with a home run and 4 runs batted in to start the homestand against Baltimore. The first act of business for Daisuke tonight, who misses with a fastball. Matsuzaka, as we mentioned when we signed on the telecast, was the unquestioned prize of the free agent pitching pool. And the Red Sox ponied up an awful lot of money just to have the rights to negotiate with him. He certainly grabbed a lot of attention in Boston, as you know, the Red Sox franchise, until the last 10 years or so, wasn't known to be a spender on par with, say, the Yankees and Dodgers. They are every bit that spending franchise these days.
Can you imagine spending about $51 million just to talk to somebody, just to negotiate with them, just to have the rights to negotiate?
Giles on 2-1 hits a ball foul close to the porch to make it 2-2. Well, it worked. because they got their guy. He brought with him a lot of innings in the Japanese Professional League. He brought with him a lot of innings in high school. And therein lies some of the criticism. The fact that you're bringing in a guy who's already had some minor arm trouble, who's pitched a lot in Japan. He has been outstanding since coming stateside. 3-2 the count to Giles.
8 years in Japan with the Seibu Lions. And Matty, like you said, innings, and more innings. Of those 8 years, only one time he did not go into double digits in wins. He was 6-2 in the middle of that 8 years. But every other year, into the double digits in victories.
He's running full to Marcus Giles to start the night. And there's ball 4. If you're going to find a criticism, if you're going to punch a hole in what Daisuke's done as a Red Sox, he has been known to walk a few. 7 walks over his last 2 starts combined. As we take a look at the Red Sox defensively behind him, brought to you by SD Storage. Go to sdstorage.com for a location nearest you. Coco Crisp in center field has really been good on the defensive side of the scorecard. Only Ichiro has had more consecutive chances without an error. 116 consecutive games without kicking one in center field for Coco Crisp. Leadoff hitter aboard now for Jose Cruz Jr.
Notice that Daisuke uses the quick move. That was a very quick leg kick. And that gives Jason Varitek, the catcher, a chance to threat the runner. This is a breaking ball that's spiked. Varitek keeps it in front of him, and the running game, you never know. It might come into play tonight. Varitek's throwing out 13% of the runners trying to steal against the catcher. But what I've seen just from that one pitch, Daisuke is very quick to the plate.
Adrian Gonzalez on deck for San Diego. Leadoff hitter off of first base in the 1-0 home. A ball and a strike to count to Jose Cruz Jr. A lot of the hype surrounding Daisuke Matsuzaka came with the one pitch that got so much ink. It was so thoroughly covered, it almost became cliche to read another story about Daisuke's gyro ball.
It's a backup slider. I remember looking at it on the internet this offseason, and everybody was so hyped up about this new pitch. And you know what? Good old left-hander Randy Jones talks about the backup slider quite a bit when he was pitching. And what the backup slider does, rather than going down and away to a right-hander, it'll kind of back up a little bit and break the opposite way, or break straight down with a little bit more tip to it. I remember watching video and slowing down his hand and seeing the slider grip and seeing how he got through the ball, and it's the same type grip. It's just weird sometimes. Maybe it's pressure on the thumb, pressure on the finger, but the ball gets a funky rotation on it. Hence the gyro ball that everybody was talking about.
2 balls and a strike to count to Jose Cruz Jr. 3 for 11 was Cruz against the Orioles to start the homestand. Swats the 2-1 away foul. 2-2 now. Jose Cruz Jr., a former Red Sox, albeit for a very brief time. 4 games with the Red Sox during the 05 season after he was acquired from the Diamondbacks in that well-traveled couple of year span for Jose. And Matsuzaka just wants to check in with Marcus Giles. We mentioned the base on balls, Mudcat. Daisuke Matsuzaka has walked 3 or more in half of his 14 starts this year. That leadoff walk off of first base. Giles stays put and Cruz lays off. It's a full count. So back-to-back 3-2 counts to start the ballgame.
I think that is one of the approaches Merv Retman is talking about, facing Matsuzaka, about being patient. You know, if you recognize the breaking ball and it's down, it's going to finish even lower.
Giles runs on 3-2. Ball 4, back-to-back walks open the ball game for San Diego.
Trim into the breaking ball. A lot of confidence in that pitch. And as I mentioned earlier, there's a cutter, a slider, and a curve. Take a look at Terry Francona, been the Red Sox manager since 2004. The Josh Bard look-alike.
Francona? It's not bad. Let's see a little bit of that. Big opportunity early now for Adrian Gonzalez. Runners at first and second. Adrian 3 for 12 to start the homestand against Baltimore.
Whoa.
And that one squirts away from Varitek, up and throwing to third. The throw's high, and it brings Youkilis off the bag. A good throw might have had Giles, who hesitated a wee bit before taking the extra base. Wild pitch, runners at second and third.
Yeah, I think this ball may have hit the umpire's shin. Yes, it hit the right shin guard of the umpire, and Varitek did the best he could, and that was a very close play. Youkilis just puts the glove on him as his foot goes in and tries to stay on there because he was thinking that Marcus might come off the bag. Now pitching coach John Farrell is going to have a little talk with him.
John Farrell, a former staff mate of Buddy Black in Cleveland.
John pitched at Oklahoma State in his collegiate years and played for the California Angels a little bit. And it was interesting because John Farrell, when he was hired as pitching coach this offseason by the Red Sox, and they signed Daisuke, John's been taking Japanese lessons for like the past 6 months, trying to brush up on his Japanese. Daisuke does have an interpreter, but John said, you know what, his English is better than his Japanese. So he speaks pretty well in the English language.
Runners at second and third, nobody out.
See him laying off that slider.
2 balls and no strikes.
I know he's only thrown 14 pitches so far early in this ball game, but 10 balls, 4 strikes.
Here's the 2-0 home. Buried it again. 3 balls and no strikes now.
I see a lot of off-speed stuff from Daisuke when he's behind the count. That looked like either a split finger or some type of changeup. It had some funky spin on the ball, and it looked funky out of his hand.
Well, one way to keep the people wearing red quiet to start the night is by hoisting a couple of early scores tonight. 3 balls and no strikes. Adrian giving himself the green light here.
I'd take a pitch. I'd make him work a little harder.
Okay. He takes a fastball right down Main Street to make it 3-1. Mike Cameron on deck for San Diego.
Now you go to Hacken. And the beauty of this at-bat is that Adrian recognizes the off-speed pitch, spits on it, but yet he can take that ball off the plate to the left side with some authority if he pitches him away.
And a bouncer onto the right side, fouled at the plate.
Boy, for that ball to go that far out to the right side of the infield, I'm surprised Adrian is not in any more pain than he looks. I mean, he looks like it's no big deal. That must have hit. Does he have a shin guard on that right leg? Yes, he does. It's mixed in with the white pants. He does have a shin guard on that right leg.
San Diego trying to cash in on an early opportunity. And Matsuzaka has runners at second and third with nobody down. And he walked him on a fastball, ball 4. Boy, you know, we've said this before about guys like Matsuzaka who are a little funky and who have a different repertoire. Nothing has been straight tonight. Look at how this fastball runs away. First, we're going to check the entire sequence on the Carl's Jr. pitch track.
Well, he totally missed. Got a little help from the umpire. And this is what I mentioned. Behind in the count, throwing a lot of off-speed stuff. There's the fastball to make it 3-1. Another breaky ball. And then he misses to try to go to the outside corner. So Daisuke throwing a lot of off-speed stuff when he's behind in the count.
Matsuzaka has walked the bases loaded to start the night. A huge opportunity for Mike Cameron. 2 for 6 with the bases loaded this year. Mike was 6 for 13. Enjoyed a very good series against Baltimore.
It's imperative. The Padres have to get 2 runs here. I mentioned the fastball of Daisuke. He can get it anywhere from 89 to 95. He will change speeds on it, but it's a pretty straight fastball.
Michael Barrett on deck behind Cameron. And Mike lifts a fly ball into foul territory. Ortiz and Pedroia are there. The second baseman, Dustin Pedroia, makes the catch. Well, what a big first out for Daisuke as everybody stays put on base.
Fastball swung on and missed for strike one, and it looked like another fastball that he just could not catch up to, and under it just a little bit. Here's that second pitch. Yep, it's a heater. A little bit of a run on it. And Mike out in front just with it and dipping underneath it just a tad.
So now Michael Barrett, who got that Padre debut out of the way yesterday in the afternoon affair against Baltimore. Michael went hitless, looking for his first base hit in a Padre uniform. There's a base hit into left field. Barrett's first San Diego knock drives in a run. 1-0 Friars.
So Michael Barrett saying to everybody, hey, let's get the merry-go-round going here. 1 on, 1 off. First pitch breaking ball. Remember, Mike Cameron, a couple of fastballs. Barrett stays on the breaking ball nicely. Man, that's a nice swing. First pitch, getting the over slider. He did not overswing and hit the hole nicely to the left side.
So now Khalil Green. Greeny's bases loaded numbers are by far and away the best on the roster. 5 for 11 with a grand slam this year. 16 of his 41 runs batted in have come in bases loaded situations. 1-0 San Diego. The Padres on the board on their second out tonight. Khalil behind 0-2. When you look at Daisuke Matsuzaka's ERA by inning, his first inning ERA of 4.50 jumps out at you a little bit, but where he really gets hurt is after turning the lineup card over a few times. Third time through the lineup is where opponents have had their most success.
You know, Matty, you can look at that so many ways, but as I've seen him pitch a third of an inning here and throw 24 pitches, I mentioned that he's pitching backwards. Off-speed stuff and fastball counts. Now, in the fastball at 90 might look 98. So I guess my point is second time, third time around, if they get that far, maybe the guys have a better timing on the fastball. Maybe you can recognize it. That might be one of the reasons why you see the high numbers.
Ball and 2 strikes the count to Khalil Green. Well hit into the corner in left field, but just foul. You know, bear in mind that the Red Sox come to us here in San Diego having gotten really healthy at the San Francisco Giants' expense. They dropped 2 out of 3 against the Rockies. And on this continued swing west, they won 3 in a row in San Francisco and then took 2 out of 3 in Atlanta. And in winning 5 of their last 6, Boston's pitching staff arrived here with 19 straight scoreless innings. That all ends in the first inning tonight, and Green is called out on strike 3. 96-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh, pretty good pitch. Nice frame job by Jason Varitek, but you know, with 2 strikes, you never know what a guy's thinking, especially after pitching backwards like that. Might be looking for the breaking ball, but he froze Khalil Green on that pitch.
So with 2 gone bases still loaded and a run in, it's Russell Branyan. Russ's only hit in the Baltimore series, a solo home run here Wednesday night. appeal down to third. Darryl Cousins confirms the swing. 0-1 the count to Branyan. Russ hitless this year, 0 for 2 with the bases loaded. A ball and a strike.
Well, how do you think he's trying to pitch Branyan? Hard in, trying to straighten him up a little bit, and then maybe throw some wrinkles on the outside part of the plate to backdoor that slider.
You know, because of that repertoire, Daisuke has actually limited left-handed batters to a batting average about 50 points lower than righties. He's been taken deep more often by south swingers, but for the most part, he has really been able to handle left-handed hitting. And he's got Russell Branyan behind 1 and 2.
Well, he just threw a nasty split-finger fastball. And the reason why I say nasty is two things. The arm action was just outstanding, and the reaction, or I should say the action of the baseball, just threw off Russell Branyan.
Foul back, and it's still a ball and 2 strikes to Branyan. Kevin Kuzminoff waiting for a 2-out opportunity. He would be next. As we get going tonight, it already feels like we've been going for a while because of the atmosphere here for opening pitch. But we will keep you up to speed on some other scores on the Interleague scoreboard tonight. We can tell you the Dodgers have defeated Tampa Bay 6-3 in a game that just became final a little while ago.
Oh, what a contrast in starting pitching tonight. This will be the 31st pitch for Daisuke. Greg Maddux threw 10 pitches in his first inning of work.
10 pitches, all strikes.
Yep.
Out of the way again. Well, we can say this with relative certainty. The fact that the Red Sox boast the best American League bullpen, will be able to see plenty of it tonight. I mean, Matsuzaka is already over 30 pitches. He hasn't yet gotten out of the first. Here's the next 1-2 home to Russell Branyan. Swinging a high fly ball to right. Willie Mopena out there. And he makes the catch to retire the side. San Diego does strike for the first run tonight. And at the end of just an inning, it's 1-0 Padres. Visit Padres.com or call 877-FRIAR-TICKS. Be sure to stay after the game for Independence Day fireworks presented by Sony. Strike one to Kevin Youkilis, who leads off the second for Boston. Youkilis, Varitek, and Pena here in the second for the Red Sox. An early run in support of Greg Maddux, though he was certainly hopeful that that bases loaded, nobody out situation would have yielded a bit more support. So if you're Terry Francona, you're thinking, boy, we really dodged an early bullet here. It's the 1-1 to Youkilis. Heads up that foul.
You know, you look at the stance of Kevin Youkilis, and as a pitcher, you look for certain holes. Looks like he's up on the plate. His hands are very high, and then he just throws the head down as you take a look at his numbers. He can run into one with a nice average. You think you could probably bust one inside. Well, he just proved right there that he could spin on a Greg Maddux fastball on the inside part of the plate.
Kevin Youkilis has really become, in addition to being one of the most popular Red Sox on the roster currently, one of the more productive offensive players. In just his second full season with the club, he at one point earlier had a 23-game hitting streak that matched the second longest in the big leagues this year. Maddux clears him out to make it 2-2.
That's one of those pitches where Greg Maddux will even admit, you know what, one got away from me. So take a look. When he extends, his hands are over the plate. So you think that, you know what, I can get in on this guy.
Punches a fly ball into right. Jose Cruz Jr. makes the catch, and there's one gone for Maddux in the second. Dave Magadan, old friend and colleague, former Padre hitting coach, doing his thing for Terry Francona in Boston now.
We're down to Red Sox clubhouse before the game, and where was Mags? He's sitting on a chair in the batting cage, underneath, helping the guys with their strokes.
Here's the switch hitting catcher now, Jason Varitek. And Varitek has issued strike one. Varitek at a subpar 265, 7 home runs and 31 runs batted in. Guy who was one of the emotional leaders of the Red Sox and has been for some time, was part of the reason, his absence, part of the reason that Boston struggled in 2006. He was limited to just over 100 games with a knee problem. Here's the 1-1 to the 35-year-old backstop. Checks his swing. It's 2-1.
You know what's pretty cool about Jason Varitek, Captain Jason Varitek, I should say? This is really neat because I'm a baseball fan. Carlton Fisk in the Red Sox uniform, he caught 999 games. This is the 1,075th game caught for Jason Varitek as a Boston Red Sox catcher. That's pretty cool.
First Red Sox catcher ever to reach that plateau as he takes a strike. 2-2. As important as Ortiz and Ramirez are to the lineup, there were so many people that really truly felt like missing Varitek for as long as they did last year is what ended up costing the Red Sox a chance to compete for a division crown. It hurt him from a pitching standpoint.
Yep.
It hurt him from an offensive standpoint. Maddux has run it full to him. The 3-2 and they appeal. No swing once again, says Darrell Cousins, and it's ball 4 to Varitek. So the Red Sox have their second base runner of the night on a rare Maddux walk. That's just the 14th base on balls issued by Greg Maddux this year. So now Willie Mopena, a notorious free-swinging feast-or-famine type hitter who has had some surprising career success against Greg Maddux. Fastball's in for a strike. Pena in 14 plate appearances against Maddux has homered 3 times. 5 for 14. The Red Sox are hopeful that a couple of hits on Wednesday against Atlanta got him out of what has been a fairly sizable funk. He was 0 for 11 entering Wednesday's game against the Braves. One out, one on, and the 1-1 is swung on and missed. Those other interleague scores that we'll keep our eyes on tonight. We mentioned the Dodgers beat Tampa Bay. The Yankees are playing in San Francisco since the first time since the '62 World Series, and they have a 1-0 lead over the Giants in the second. The suddenly red-hot Colorado Rockies are in the midst of a 6-6 tie in Toronto. That's a 9th inning score. And Arizona's hosting Baltimore. 6-0 Orioles. That's in the third.
Yeah, how about the Rockies sweeping those Yankees in Colorado? Talk about red hot.
2-2 to Pena, chopped to second base. Giles to Green, who loves to throw back unis. They double off Willie Pena. Let's see if Greeny can give us some more highlight defense with the throwbacks. He makes a habit of it every couple of years. Nothing in the Boston second. About the beer, a little note on Red Sox winning seasons. If Boston ends this season over 500, it will be their 10th straight winning season, their longest stretch of consecutive north of 500 campaigns. 16 straight winning seasons from '67, the year of the Yastrzemski Triple Crown, to 1982.
That's good living right there, huh? Boy.
Kevin Kuzminoff leads things off against Daisuke Matsuzaka in the second. 1-0 Padres on a Michael Barrett bases loaded single in the first. And Matsuzaka got off the hook there with only 1 run allowed, though he walked the bases loaded to start the ballgame. 1-1 to Kuzminoff, who had a base hit yesterday, coming back to the lineup for the first time. That lower back problem cost Kevin almost 2 weeks.
Such a tremendous amount of torque when a guy swings like that. And you know what? He heard it on a changeup, remember? Guys are fooled on the changeup, and I don't know what it is. It's different than making contact on a baseball with the same type of swing. But maybe it's because you're trying to reach, and then all of a sudden you overextend yourself, and then bang. Time to see your chiropractor.
1-2 to Kuzminoff.
How come every time I see that old-time Boston uniform that the Red Sox are wearing, I think of a ball going through the legs of Bill Buckner at Shea?
And you shouldn't think of that. You shouldn't think of it. You shouldn't have had to have ever think.
It should have never gotten to that point.
Come to that point. Don Baylor should have pinch hit earlier in the game.
Stapleton should have went in for defense.
Dave Stapleton should have been in there for Billy Bucks. There's no question. I mean, any Red Sox fans watching us on the satellite right now are probably cringing and gnashing their teeth, and we apologize. We don't want to make things unpleasant for you. But I was pulling for the Red Sox that year. I didn't like that '86 Mets team.
You and me both.
Here's a 1-2 home to Kuz, a swing and a miss. Well, that's the Daisuke Matsuzaka that San Diego fans watched here a couple of years ago en route to winning MVP honors in the inaugural World Baseball Classic. The only pitcher with 3 victories in the WBC. He won all 3 of his starts and allowed only 2 runs in 13 innings.
And those last 2 pitches you saw there, good luck trying to hit that.
2 strikeouts for him tonight, and here's Maddox. You know, Daisuke Mania came stateside this offseason when the Red Sox announced that they had won the bidding war. But he was certainly not a secret in Japan. It's lined out to right center. Softly goes Chris to make the catch. Fantastic numbers in 8 seasons in Saifu. 165 games started, 108 victories, over 1,400 innings in that 26-year-old right arm. He started pitching professionally there as an 18-year-old, right out of high school.
This guy's a Clydesdale. You know when we talked about guys being workhorses? This guy is a Clydesdale. You know what his game day workout was today? He ran 25 minutes, and then he threw for 25 minutes on flat ground. Stretches it out to about 150 feet, and then shortens up flat ground about 60 feet to spin some pitches. It's not just, you know, sleeping until the crack of noon, getting up, having a milkshake, coming to the ball yard, and sitting in front of his locker, getting fat and sassy, having Doritos and, you know, Cokes. This guy works.
Was that autobiographical, by the way, that last? Ball and 2 strikes to count home to Marcus Giles.
You know me too well.
Well, he is absolutely the polar opposite of all of our American methodology when it comes to how to treat a professional pitching arm. We subscribe to the, take it easy, get your scheduled rest, and in Japan it's throw, throw, and throw. There's the 1-2 home to Giles.
You know, the most important thing I feel, pitching coach John Farrell said before the game that Daisuke is a great teammate. He's a great guy in the clubhouse. He's a competitor. Oh.
3 strikeouts for Matsuzaka as he gets Giles looking at his slider. This is filthy. Wow. team that sports the best road record in Major League Baseball. Boston, a 23-13 winner away from home. San Diego with the early advantage behind Greg Maddux, who goes back to work in the third and gets Julio Lugo, Daisuke Matsuzaka, and Coco Crisp. Greg allowed a leadoff single to start the ballgame, and then a one-out walk in the second, with no damage on the scoreboard as of yet. And Lugo's behind 0-2. The well-traveled Julio Lugo, one of the few Red Sox that starts this series struggling. 0 for his last 16. Batting average just north of 200 to start play tonight. A fly ball on the right. Keep trying to go out there.
That's the perfect example when a guy is struggling like that. You know he can't go opposite yard on you, right? Have him flip it up there in the air, especially here at Petco Park. Greg Maddux 8 for 8 on first pitch strikes.
So with one gone now, he goes to work on Daisuke Matsuzaka. Great pitching matchups for the rest of the series. Tomorrow, Tim Wakefield and Chris Young. And then on Sunday afternoon, Josh Beckett and Jake Peavy. Beckett 9-1. Beckett 10-1 rather. Peavy 9-1. Sunday afternoon. We're covered all weekend long here on Channel 4. And it's a quick 0-2 count to Matsuzaka.
Yeah, Matsuzaka played in the Pacific League in Japan, and in the Pacific League they have the DH.
High chopper, really high. Giles has to hurry, and they get him by a couple of steps.
That is a tough play, especially for a second baseman coming in and timing that play perfectly to where you're on the run. Gets a little help from home plate. Gets him by a step and a half.
Two out, bases empty now for Coco Crisp, who singled and stole the base back in the first.
How about Coco Crisp getting a little extra time near that on-deck circle? Maybe get a little extra pine tar on that bat, and having his pitcher give him time to go back to the dugout and kind of rest a little bit. Probably be taking a pitch here too. Look at calling time. Take a pitch here maybe.
Takes a strike. Well, Crisp has really been swinging the bat well. Wednesday in Atlanta, first inning home run against Buddy Carlisle, part of a 2-for-5 day for him.
Threw him a breaking ball right there. Sped up his bat. You hangy, he'll bang you, and it will speed up his bat.
There's a fastball swung on and missed.
And just like Lugo, I'm guessing Greg Maddux, he's going to try to stay away. He misses right there. That's a mistake because he wanted it inside.
Maddux in front of his second-year Red Sox, 0-2. We mentioned Crisp, a second-year Boston center fielder. His first run in Fenway really not as successful as he would have liked. The .264 hitter last season. Of course, an immense task filling the shoes left behind when Johnny Damon went to New York.
That's a combination of Joe Morgan and Ernie Banks from the left side. Joe Morgan with the elbow flap, and then the top hand with the wiggle. Joe Morgan, remember Joe Morgan?
Sure.
Doing that. And then remember Ernie Banks doing the old, and then gripping it and ripping it. Coco Crisp. Look at that. Joe Morgan. Whap, whap, and then. Everybody has their own little mechanism. Bless you, my son. Just the helmet. Twist. Joe Morgan. Ernie Banks.
Two balls and two strikes to Coco Crisp. You know, we know Coco Crisp is a former Indian. You forget the fact that he was drafted by the Cardinals. traded to Cleveland. That's where he made his major league debut, and I'm not quite sure where that misses. It's a 3-2 count now to Coco Chris. Dustin Pedroia, the outstanding rookie second baseman, waiting on deck. Maddox out of the wind, and the 3-2 home is bounced to first and fouled. Luis Alicea, first-year first base coach for the Red Sox. Another former Cardinal. Marlo Hale at third base in his second year in Boston. Been the longest at-bat by any Boston hitter so far. The 9th pitch is swung on and missed. Back-to-back 1-2-3 innings for the Professor. 1-0 Friars.
Plus, enjoy the return of the famous San Diego chicken.
Get your tickets early and save at Padres.com. Don't miss the famous San Diego chicken Friday, July 6th against Atlanta.
That's free-range chicken.
Atlanta shut out at home by the Detroit Tigers tonight. 5-0 Detroit on your interleague scoreboard as Daisuke Matsuzaka goes back to work. Jose Cruz Jr., Adrian Gonzalez, and Mike Cameron for San Diego. And Cheo takes strike one. Cruz drew one of the 3 walks that were issued by Matsuzaka prior to his recording an out. The Padres were able to translate that into only 1 run. And that explains your 1-0 score. One and one. Matsuzaka has retired 5 in a row ever since the Barrett RBI single. 2 balls and a strike to Cruz.
Well, you know what? The next couple pitches will be 50 pitches for Matsuzaka, but for this guy, Matty, it really doesn't matter. As I mentioned, this guy's a workhorse. You see the breakdown on 48 pitches.
Two and two. Well, the stories of his durability reached legendary status in Japan. With Saibu, he once had a 300-pitch bullpen session. He threw 300 pitches in one bullpen.
Did he have surgery right after?
Here's the 2-2 home. Full count now. Well, the second time he took the mound in camp with the Red Sox this spring training, he threw a bullpen session of over 100 pitches, and a lot of people around the Red Sox were like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's back off. Yeah. We just put a lot of money into that right arm. That's what he does. Here's the 3-2 home to Cruz, fouled away. But I think the story that really jumps out at you when you talk about his durability, this is nothing short of amazing. And it was something that was put out there when he was on the Japanese Olympic team in 2000 and in 2004. High school tournament in 1998. He threw 250 pitches in a 17-inning complete game win.
Oh, my goodness.
It's not over yet. J.O. lines a well-hit ball to right. The next day, he played left field. And then the next day, he took the mound again on 1 day's rest and threw a no-hitter in the tournament final. He's not quite throwing 250 pitches per game here in the States, but he averages 109 per start. Only Carlos Zambrano and Aaron Harang throw more per starting assignment. With one gone, here's Adrian now. Fastball starts him with a strike.
You know, there are different theories. Take some time off, spin a little bit in between starts. There are also people who say, you know, if you stay in motion, stay in shape, your arm's going to stay in shape. Gumby. This guy could be classified as Gumby with that rubber arm. He's 26 years old, but, you know, and this brings up a point you were mentioning, Matty. He signed through 2012. They invested a lot of money in this guy. It's a lot of pitches for a 26-year-old. Is he pitching as if he's got a 36-year-old arm? Who knows? I guess that's a chance you take, huh?
He brought that slider up around eye level and got it to break for a strike. Or was it?
Oh, my. Happy Star is not happy on that one. Well, it looks like it's out of the zone.
Struck him out. Since the run scored in the first, Matsuzaka has struck out 4. And since Barrett's RBI single, he has faced 7 batters and started each of them with strike 1.
Well, I think that called slider for a strike had a lot to do with that last swing and miss by Adrian for the punch out. After that called strike, you have to swing at that pitch up and away like that. You think it's going to be called a strike?
So with 2 gone now, he'll go to work on Mike Cameron. Cameron popped to second with the bases loaded, nobody out in the first. And Mike is backed up on a slider. Trying to extend a modest 4-game hitting streak tonight. But big numbers in that boiled down period of time for Mike. Here's the 1-0 home.
Wow.
You know, I saw Daisuke Matsuzaka pitch in the Olympic Games in 2004. And in the silver medal game, he was hit in the forearm with a comebacker. He left the game. This was late. This was in the 7th inning. He fires a strike to Cameron. And there was a kind of a collective gasp that came up off the dugout and from the stands. You know, this is the pitching star in the entire country. And he gets hit in the arm with a sharp line drive. He went into the dugout, onto the trainer's table. They stopped the game for 10 minutes. You know, in the big leagues, you come out of a game and you're out of the game.
Right.
They stopped the game for 10 minutes while they attended to him. They determined he was okay to go back out there, and he went back out there and pitched 2 more innings, ended up going 8+. There's the 3-1 home to Cameron. The swing and a miss, a full count now.
3-1 slider. He threw that pitch earlier in the ball game in the first inning. Once he gets that release point down, you think the confidence level of Daisuke is up there? You bet. 3-1, he throws that slider, taking the chance that he might walk Mike Cameron. So what do you throw him again? Do you try to fool him with the fastball, or do you go back to the slider?
Fastball fouled away.
So I'm taking it from that last story that you told me. International rules are different, huh?
Well, the international rules for baseball in the Olympics were poorly defined.
Yeah.
And I think that's part of the reason why baseball is only going to be recognized as an Olympic sport one more year, and then it's gone. This was before the World Baseball Classic. There was really no organized World Baseball Committee.
Right.
There's the 3-2 once again to Mike, and there's ball 4. He brought the slider upstairs and lost him. 4 walks for Matsuzaka. With 2 out now, Michael Barrett has a chance. He has San Diego's only base hit tonight. The base hit by Barrett came on a first pitch. An aggressive lead from first for Cameron. I believe it was a first pitch slider, too.
You are correct, sir.
See how Matsuzaka handles it here. Cameron has once again an aggressive lead from first, and it draws a throw. Jason Varitek has thrown out only 13% of would-be thieves. 3 of 26. So it's a first pitch fastball to Michael this time, and it's fouled away. This being the first time that we've seen Daisuke Matsuzaka pitch as a big leaguer here in the States live, I really don't feel qualified to tell you if he works this kind of pace all the time or not. It's something we might run next door and try to get some information on from the Red Sox guys. Former middle infielder Jerry Remy and Don Orsillo here broadcasting back to Boston. He's really slow out of the stretch. And he is, for good reason, rather concerned with Cameron here.
Got a pretty decent lead out there.
Another base hit for Barrett. That one on a fastball. With Michael Barrett having no trouble with Matsuzaka tonight.
An 0-2 knock and very aggressive on that fastball down and in. And when you look at the line score for the Padres, 1 run, 2 hits. Well, here's your guy. He's the catcher. 2 knocks. Hello, catcher.
So now Khalil Green with runners at first and second and 2 away. Green, 1 to the 5 strikeout victims. Check that 4 strikeout victims for Matsuzaka this evening. Russ Branyan moves into the on-deck circle. Cameron and Barrett aboard with 2 away. And strike 1 to Khalil. You know, the guys on the Honda Dealers pregame show talked about that series that the Padres and Red Sox played in 2004. And that opening game of the 3-game series at Fenway. And Pedro matched up against David Wells. And the Red Sox won a 1-0 pitcher's duel. There have already been more base runners in this game, seemingly, than there were that night in Boston 3 seasons ago. But here we are, plugging away in a series opener.
That was the night we did the game from the wall.
1-0.
Monster.
Yeah. 1-0 Boston is the final score in that one. 1-0 San Diego here in the opener thus far tonight. A lot of baseball left to be played. We understand that. 1-2 to Green. Matsuzaka's up to 69 pitches. And that's 2 2/3 into the game. You know, on this pace, he's going to get through 5. Khalil checks it on 1 and 2, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Greeny 5 for 13 with a home run against the Orioles to start the homestand. And the 2-2 misses well off the plate. A 3-ball and 2-strike count now. With 2 gone, both runners will be in motion.
Make sure he goes to the plate. Looks like the middle infielders are playing way off the bag at second base, holding their ground. David Ortiz way behind the runner at first.
Here's the payoff home with the runners in motion. Greeny swings and sends a fly ball into shallow left center field. And Coco Crisp is there to retire the side without a score. We've played 3 complete downtown. Padres and Red Sox 1-0 San Diego. Take a look at the Aflac trivia question. Who is the only Red Sox player to play in 163 games in a regular season?
You know what? That has to be the season where they played the 1-game playoff with the Yankees.
1978 was that year.
And you know who I'm going to? Can I take a guess?
Yeah, take a shot at it.
I'm going to say Jim Ed.
Jim Rice?
James Edward Rice.
Probably a good guess. 78. Just to throw out a name, I'm going to say Freddie Lynn. No, you know what? I recant that. I'm going to say it was Yaz.
Yes, I love watching that guy play.
0-2 the count to Dustin Pedroia, leading things off in the 4th inning here. 1-0 San Diego. Pedroia, Ortiz, and Ramirez for the Red Sox. We had a nice visit with Buddy Black before the series today, and you know, we always like to talk to Buddy about the visiting uniform when it comes in here and his experiences with guys on the team, with that team as a pitcher. He made his major league debut against the Red Sox. As a Mariner, was called on to face Rick Miller, the left-handed hitting center fielder, backup center fielder, guy that played behind Freddie Lynn. Lost him on a check swing 3-2 pitch double that drove in a couple of runs, and Buddy Black was removed. Pedroia gets to Maddox. A nice appearance. Fought back from being behind in the count and singled into right.
Well, with Big Papi, David Ortiz coming up to the plate. That's our Valley View Casino colossal hit of the game, and that hit came on Wednesday against the Atlanta Braves in interleague play. It was the 2nd inning. Oh, you bet. Off of Buddy Carlisle, former Friar. 2-run shot. It was Big Papi's 13th home run of the year, the colossal hit of the game. Brought to you by the all-new Valley View Casino, San Diego's favorite casino.
It's always that buzz that goes around a ballpark, whether it's Fenway or whether it's on the road, when David Ortiz stands in. Red Sox fans start to buzz here with a man on and nobody out. David Ortiz has increased his home run total for each of the last 7 years, though after he hit 54 in 2006. He's going to really have to go nuts to hit a total north of that in 2007. There have only been 3 players in the history of Major League Baseball to increase their home run totals for 7 consecutive seasons, and David Ortiz is one of them.
Well, his first year as a Red Sox in 03, he hit 27 home runs the last 3 months of the year.
Fly ball into left center field. Cameron waving off Brandon, but Russ is the one that makes the catch. Didn't it look like Mike called him off there?
You know, it's a funky sky out there. Long run for Mike. And I'm not sure if Mike was saying I can't see it. Very tough to tell. But the bottom line is it's now. Looks like it's dark enough to where the ball's not going to get lost up there. Maybe the bank of lights came into play. Who knows?
So 1 out, 1 on now for Manny Ramirez, who lined out to right on a well-hit ball to end the first. The RBI machine, who has hit safely in 5 in a row. Ramirez has homered in 3 of his last 5 ball games, including his at-bat tonight. He is 0 for 9 in his career against Greg Maddux.
Pretty good pitch. Here's that backdoor sinker from Greg Maddux. That looks like a doozy to me.
One and 1. We refer to Manny Ramirez as an RBI machine, and it's become kind of a baseball cliche. He's one of the few that you can really call that. Last year, he drove in 102 runs. A phenomenal season by anyone's standards except for his. That was his fewest since 1997. So his smallest RBI total as a Red Sox. 11 times in 12 seasons, he has gone over 100 runs that day. Amazing productivity, and a base hit back up the middle. Red Sox stack up multiple base runners for the first time tonight for Kevin Youkilis.
Youkilis, Kuzminov, it all sounds the same to the fans when they both step up to the plate.
So Ramirez extended his 5-game hitting streak with a base hit this inning. And Youkilis attempting to follow suit. He flied to right in his first try tonight. Pretty good career numbers with runners in scoring position for Youkilis, and Maddux wants to chat things over with Michael Barrett. Want to make sure they're on the same page with a runner at second.
Yeah, with those signs, you don't want to cross up your catcher. You see Marcus Giles is getting the signs because he wants to relay them to Khalil Green at shortstop, whether it's a fastball or a breaking ball, so the infielders can adjust accordingly. Usually the infielders will look at one another. It's either open mouth for a breaking ball or a fastball or vice versa. Kevin Youkilis has a unique way of getting set. Talking about mechanisms, watch his right hand. He like brings it up and then brings it back down to grab the bat.
Takes a strike, 0-1. Talk about his success with runners in scoring position. 326 career, and even better this season, 338.
It's like he's extending the antenna or something.
Swing and a miss. Greg Maddux changeup had him way out in front.
Love the combio. Talk about taking the swing or the sting out of the swing. Way out in front.
Pedroia and Ramirez aboard with one gone. Oh my. Fastball just missed the corner apparently. It's 1-2 now. We'll take a look at it again.
More than the pitch. How do you lay off that pitch when you've got no balls, 2 strikes out? And you know Maddux pecks away at that outside corner.
It's a good point. Barrett sets up way outside. Same pitch, grounded up the middle of base hit. Youkilis drives in Pedroia with the game-tying score. 1-1. It looked like from where Michael Barrett set up, he wanted that pitch a little farther outside.
Yes, you're absolutely right, Matt. That ball leaped across the heart of the plate. You can tell by the Carl's Jr. pitch tracking that ball was also elevated in the strike zone. With the sinker, wanted to backdoor it to the right-handed hitter. It leaked across, and he got a pretty good piece of it.
Kevin Youkilis, with runners in scoring position and less than 2 out, is now hitting .389. Now here's Varitek now. He walked in the second. We were talking earlier about Coco Crisp and the fact that you tend to forget where he started his career as St. Louis property. You really tend to forget that Jason Varitek was drafted in the first round by the Mariners in 1994. Varitek did not want to play in Seattle. Was acquired by the Red Sox in '97. That's bounced up the middle. Ramirez is being waved around. Cameron's throw home is cut off. It's 2-1 Boston. And the big slugging Red Sox, with the second best slugging percentage in the American League, take the lead with 4 singles here in the fourth. And Darren Balsley is coming out to visit with Greg Maddux.
Well, you know, of the 1, 2, 3, 4 hits of the Boston Red Sox this inning, a lot of them either up, I should say 2 of them, up the center of the diamond. So the approach against Greg Maddux is a good approach. The other 2 have been to slightly right center field. So the Boston Red Sox, sure, they've got the firepower, but they're taking some good swings and utilizing the center of the diamond for those hits up that part of the diamond.
Who does that remind you of?
Dave Magany?
No, I mean the approach you just mentioned. Dave Magany. I didn't ask you who that visually reminded you of, because that is in fact Dave Magany.
Right. That's the way I took your question, and we just happened to.
Okay. Oh, he's loving this. 2 balls and a strike to count home to Willie Mopena. Pena's runners in scoring position numbers quite the opposite of Kevin Youkilis. A 1-hopper to Green. He gets it over to Giles. They're able to force out the runner at second base. Well, Varitek is erased. Ball was really hit sharply.
Off the end of the bat, snapped that Shillelagh right in half. You know, you would have loved to have 2 there, but you get at least 1 out. We'll try to stay away from the big inning because there's a crooked one up there now for the Red Sox.
Here's Julio Lugo. He flied to right in his first at bat. Youkilis at third, Pena the runner at first. One ball and one strike on the slider, swung on and missed. Since leaving the Astros in 2003, Julio Lugo has certainly been well traveled. About a year and a half in Tampa, a brief stay in Toronto, back to Tampa. Last year saw some time as a Dodger. 07 his first year in Boston. Just gets a piece of that to foul it off and stay alive. Well, much the same way we talked about Daisuke Matsuzaka minimizing damage with just one run in the bottom of the second. Maddox trying to do the same here. The Red Sox on the board for 2 runs. And the 1-2 to Lugo. Got him looking. That patented fastball that comes back around and grabs the corner. Boy, Greg's not happy about something. Lugo takes issue with the call, and I think Maddox is just displeased with himself having given up a couple of runs. 2-1 Boston. Red Sox player to have played in 163 games in a season. It was that 1978 campaign where they played the playoff game against New York, and it was the great Jim Rice.
You know, part of the great thing about playing baseball, especially at the major league level, you get to meet guys that played in other markets. I was fortunate enough to play with a guy by the name of Bruce Hurst, who pitched for the Red Sox. Just great Red Sox stories, talking about the greats. Yastrzemski. And when we got on the subject of Jim Rice, he called him Jim Ed. I thought that was great.
James Edward Rice, Jim Ed. Here's Russell Branyan leading off the last of the fourth. Branyan, Kuzminoff, and Maddox. Daisuke Matsuzaka pitching with the lead for the first time tonight. You know, in my mind, Jim Rice has Hall of Fame numbers.
Absolutely.
382 career home runs, and you know, when you got the likes of Sammy Sosa muscling up for 600 and likely not making the Hall of Fame.
I don't think he's going to.
It's pretty tough to make a case for guys like Jim Rice.
Absolutely.
Well, he was awfully good for an awfully long time in Boston. Swing and a miss by Russ. That is 5 strikeouts for Matsuzaka. Daisuke Matsuzaka, not a draft choice. His services were purchased on the free agent market. But when you talk about the 1976 amateur draft, Notable Red Sox picks. There's your guy Bruce Hurst, the first rounders, 22nd overall, and Glenn Hoffman was the next choice taken by the Red Sox that year. It's Kevin Kuzminoff now. And Kuz on the first pitch sends a drive out to right center field. It's going to die for Coco Crisp, and there are 2 away. Glenn Hoffman still wells up when you ask him about the story when he made his major league debut with the Red Sox. And his dad, the singing usher at Anaheim Stadium for such a long time, was unbeknownst to Hoffy at Fenway Park that night in 1980 when Glenn made his debut to sing the national anthem before the game. I mean, you talk about a special moment. So 2 gone now, and here's Maddox.
Talking about Bruce Hurst. Remember when he came over to the Padres as a free agent? He signed for big money, right? It was like a 3 or 4 year deal. His first outing as a Padre, just opening day, he just got lit up. I mean, he must have gave up 5-6 runs. I don't know how much it was, but he got lit up. I remember a fan, and Bruce told me this after because he heard him. The fan said, "Hey, Mrs. Kroc, stop that check."
Ball and 2 strikes accounts of Greg Maddox. But Bruce Hurst had some pretty good years here with the Padres. 15-11 his first year here in '89, but he was awfully good in Boston too. You know what you forget about Bruce Hurst? He ended his year as Rangers property. Ended his career with the Rangers in 1994. Currently makes his home in Phoenix. And Maddox is caught looking for a called strike 3. 6 strikeouts for Daisuke through 4. No shirt, no shoes, no dice. Diego's short-lived 1-0 lead. 2-1 Red Sox on the Viejas mid-game recap. 4 Boston singles in the second did the trick. Here's Daisuke to lead off the 5th. Matsuzaka, Crisp, and Pedroia for the Red Sox. Boston starts play tonight with one of its best ever 71 game starts to the season. 46-25, and that matches the Red Sox long history, their 5th best record at this point in the schedule. Terry Francona bouncing back after the difficult injury-filled 2006. Here's the 2-1 home to Daisuke. Chopper to short. And Greeny gets him. Yank the throw a little bit. One gone. You know, when you talk about Red Sox history, and it is so vast, when you compare it even to that of the Padres, who've been around for 40 years. The fact that Greg Maddux tonight is a 339 game winner makes him the winningest pitcher to face the Red Sox since Walter Johnson with 417.
Wow.
There's a base hit for Crisp into the opposite field. And if you want to scratch your head and think, wait a minute, one of these old guys with the 300+ win totals had to have faced the Red Sox between Walter Johnson and now. The closest that they got.
Let me guess. Nolan Ryan.
Good guess. Steve Carlton.
Is that when he was with the White Sox?
In 1987 with the White Sox. He was a 329 game winner when he faced Boston. You start putting guys' names out there with the likes of Walter Johnson and Cy Young, as we do with Maddux, and you know you're into something pretty special. One out, one on for Dustin Pedroia, the outstanding rookie second baseman. He takes his strike 0-1. Pedroia has singled and scored tonight. His rookie numbers rank favorably not only in the American League but among major league rookies this year. And he has really been swinging the bat well since around the beginning of May. He's upped his average from 172 to its current 323 in the last 38 games. Along with Kevin Kuzminoff, his RBI total ranks among rookie leaders this year. Delman Young, Hunter Pence had a big series against the Angels this past week. And then you see Kuzminoff and Dustin Pedroia on there as well.
You know what I like about Pedroia, seeing him for the first time and batting in the number 2 spot, is that when you look at his 06 Paw Sox numbers, AAA in Pawtucket, this kid had 423 at-bats and only struck out 27 times. That's putting the ball in play, that's hitting behind the runner, that's making good contact. All the makings, I think, for a good number 2 hitter with some speed on first base.
Pods pitch out. Crisp stays at first base. 2 balls and a strike. You know, Dustin Pedroia at Arizona State had a great collegiate career. 3 times he was a first-team All-Pac-10 choice. And he played shortstop in college. In fact, didn't move to second base until spring training of 2005. And defensively, he has worked to rave reviews this year. Crisp off with a walking lead.
Did you see that? Oh, he had a great jump. If Greg Maddux would have tossed over to first base, watch, he kind of gets a little froggy, goes there, he would have been out. And a break for San Diego. Pedroia fouling that one off, so back to first.
Crisp running again. Pitch taken inside, throw to second base. He's in time to get him. That ball had a little tail to it, but it tailed right into the runner. Shaping up to be a big night for Michael Barrett.
Oh, 14 stolen bases this year. He stole one in the first inning, and this was placed perfect. Oh, the short hop. Little Mitch Kupchak there for the out.
And Pedroia lines to Kuzminoff. Nothing comes despite the 1-out single. Middle of the night downtown, the visiting Red Sox lead by a run. Ask about it at work. And by Postal Annex Plus with over 65 locations in San Diego. See postalannex.com for the location nearest you. 80s night downtown tonight as both the Padres and Red Sox are clad in their 1984 uniforms. And Daisuke Matsuzaka, after a shaky start, he walked the bases loaded before recording an out and trailed 1-0 after an inning. Has watched while his offense has delivered a one-run lead. There's Marcus Giles now as he gets into the Padres for the third time through the order. And as we mentioned briefly when we went on the air, this has been the time in the night when things have seemed to unravel for Matsuzaka through his first 14 starts.
Well, he started off Marcus Giles with a straight fastball right down the middle. Marcus could not catch up to it. What an ERA, 6+. Let's see if these Padre hitters recognize more of the pitches as he will throw his 83rd right here.
And a slider misses outside to Giles. 1-1. Marcus has walked, scored, and struck out tonight. Elsewhere, the Yankees have a 5-0 lead in San Francisco. The Giants trying to avoid losing their 8th straight.
Serious tilt on that last pitch.
Here's the 1-2 to Giles. Slider misses off the corner again. The Dodgers were 6-3 winners in Tampa Bay earlier today. Arizona continues to trail the Orioles 7-1 Baltimore in the 8th. Colorado lost to Toronto in extra innings tonight. Slicing foul. It's the second time Marcus has given a ride out there just to the right of Petco Court.
Well, with the slider, that was outer half. That's a good idea rather than trying to pull that baseball.
Two pitches swung on and missed. 7 for Matsuzaka tonight. Daisuke Matsuzaka's high strikeout game has been 10, and he's done it twice this year.
You know what? He has found such a groove. I think he's got such a good fastball. You know, it's not overpowering, but if he can utilize his fastball a little bit more, third time around, I haven't seen a Padre hitter really hit that fastball. 2 knocks tonight, and they've been both off the bat of Michael Barrett, both for singles.
Well, in terms of strikeouts per 9, Daisuke Matsuzaka's ratio ranks him among major league leaders. Eric Bedard of the Orioles, who's really taken it to Arizona today, leads the pack. Jake Peavy on that list as well. As Cruz singles into right, San Diego's base hit with 1 away. Their 3rd of the ball game. See if Adrian Gonzalez can get something going now. He has walked and struck out tonight as Daisuke creeps up on 100 pitches, 89 and counting. Oh, and 1 to Gonzalez.
Danny, the most pitches that Daisuke has thrown this year was 130. And that was at Oakland back on June 2nd. Funny, you just have to laugh at the 90 pitches. Okay, well, whatever.
Oh, and 2 to count to Gonzalez. We mentioned the 10 strikeouts for Matsuzaka. He's done it twice this year. The first time it was in his debut performance in the big leagues. And it was the most strikeouts by a Boston pitcher in his first big league game since Don Ossie set the club record with 11 strikeouts in his major league debut back in 1977. Playable foul pop as it comes back into fair territory now for Euclid. Remember Don Ossie?
Oh yeah, double ASE.
Don Ossie was traded to the Angels after just 1 year in Boston in exchange for Jerry Remy.
And the last guy to have 4 stolen bases in a Red Sox game, Jerry Remy, back in 1980. I think of all the great players they've had in Red Sox uniforms that could run. Jerry Remy, the last guy to steal 4 bags in a game.
Two gone with Cruz still aboard at first. Here's Mike Cameron now. Cameron has popped out and walked tonight. Just 3 singles tonight for San Diego. They have benefited from 4 Matsuzaka walks. This is about the straightest fastball Matsuzaka's thrown tonight. Mike fouled it away. Easier said than done. I don't mean to say that it's easy to hit when it's straight, but it was straighter than much of what he's thrown tonight.
Seems like early in the count, Matsuzaka will throw that first pitch fastball and give you a chance to hit it, but then he'll locate it in an area where you're going to either get jammed or off the end of the bat or go to the breaking stuff. I guess my point is, with the fastball, you might get one good one to hit during an at-bat.
Michael Barrett on deck. He has 2 of San Diego's 3 singles tonight. Cruz is running. Veritek's throw down is too late. The bat for Teo Jr. is his 6th of the year.
Well, Jason Veritek yanked this ball towards the shortstop side of second base. Pretty good pitch to handle. And, you know, sometimes catchers will yank it to the right side, to the left side, but take a look at the runner, Cruz. He did a nice job of going towards the outside part of the outfield side of second base, trying to avoid that tag.
So to change the nature of the at-bat ever so slightly for Cameron, a chance to knock in a run now. Runner at second base with 2 away.
Yeah, I'm just guessing breaking balls. You know, first base open. It seems like he has been throwing a lot of breaking balls.
Like that. 2 balls and a strike to Cameron. With runners in scoring position this year, Mike a .264 batter. At .260 overall. The numbers don't really change based on the situation. In front now 3-1. Still guessing breaking ball here, right?
He's thrown it before in this game. 3-1. I remember breaking ball in the outer half for a called strike. But now, you know, the third time around, as we mentioned, you know, he's probably got guys guessing. You know, do you look for the fastball outer half? Do you look for the breaking ball?
And the one thing to bear in mind is that the only guy that's hurt him tonight's on deck, Michael Barrett.
Yep.
See, if Matsuzaka really wants to avoid Barrett, we'll know if he throws Cameron a 3-1 fastball. I tend to agree with you, though. I think he's going to throw him another slider.
He's got such a tight slider that it has the illusion of it's going to be a fastball. So with that break, that type of break, he could throw it down the heart of the plate and take his chances and let the break of the ball do the work.
Slider that missed.
A nice job by Mike Cameron.
5 walks tonight by Matsuzaka. And again, San Diego has runners at first and second with 2 gone. This is the same situation they were in the third when Khalil Green flied to center. This time it's Michael Barrett with the chance. And again, he has 2 of San Diego's 3 hits tonight. 5 walks matches a season high for Matsuzaka. Barrett had a fastball to hack at. It's fouled away. Again tomorrow, the knuckleballer Tim Wakefield. San Diego counters with Chris Young. Honda Dealers pregame shows on the air at 6:30. First pitch just after 7 o'clock. I love watching Wakefield pitch.
Love to see that knuckleball.
Oh, man. It's going to be a lot of fun tomorrow. Did Michael check it? He did. First base umpire Doug Eddings is in line. It's 1-1 to Barrett.
You know, we talk about 2 different types of pitchers, Matsuzaka and Tim Wakefield, the knuckleballers. We take a look. Does he go? You know, now that is a check swing because it didn't look like, you know, with his body he really held back with that. His bat really didn't come forward enough to really make contact with the ball and go into fair territory. And that's what I base that on. But Wakefield is a guy who can throw a lot of pitches also.
Were you a guy like that? Were you out there for 130, 140 like Daisuke and Wakefield?
In high school, you know, in high school I threw about 120 plus in a game. Minor leagues, you know, I can't ever remember having pitch counts.
Back up the middle, but gobbled up by Pedroia. Michael Barrett put a nice swing on a Daisuke fastball that looked like it was going to yield at least a run. But Pedroia came in through the side door to end the inning without a run. Sixth inning for Boston. Ortiz, Ramirez, and Youkilis, the tough gauntlet of this order. 3-4-5 for the Red Sox. Again, it was the 4 single fourth that scored the 2 against Maddox when Boston overtook San Diego and claimed that 1-run lead. 1 ball and 1 strike to Big Poppy.
And both teams have had an opportunity to really create a big inning in the 4th, as you mentioned, Matty. Only 2 runs for the Red Sox. In the 1st inning, the Padres only 1. Ooh. He catch a spike?
I think the tripwire got him.
So watch his leg on the way down. Yeah, he caught his heel. You know what scares me about that, as Maddox does the right thing and just laughs it off, is that thank goodness he did not get hurt. He's a good sport about it.
Fans reacting to his good nature.
I think what Greg just said, he was looking at the umpire. Is that a ball?
2-1 to Ortiz. 3 balls and a strike. Again, the right side of the infield loaded up against Ortiz. It's worked so far tonight. It's going to work here. That's Green that makes the play. And they got Big Papi 0 for 3 in his Petco debut. Time to take a look at our Esurance comparison of the game. Get your auto insurance quote and compare rates instantly at esurance.com. Famous Doug Mirabelli for Josh Bard. And, oh, by the way, they got Clay Meredith in that deal, too.
Yeah.
Worked out pretty good for the Friars. They don't need to say a word. Look at the numbers.
You look at them.
Here's Manny Ramirez now. Ramirez singled and scored one of the 2 in Boston's 2-run fourth. That's jerked into the corner in trouble. Branyan's having some difficulty. Ramirez into second. A 1-out double for Ramirez in the Red Sox 6th. And now Maddox has to go to work on Kevin Youkilis again with a runner in scoring position. And as we profiled, Youkilis has been really tough in situations like this one.
A sinker that just not sinking enough and catching too much of the plate. And even though this ball hits that padding, hits the rail out there, and that's a standing up double for Ramirez.
Youkilis singled home a run in the 4th. Checks his swing on a strike. Again, a .389 hitter with runners in scoring position in less than 2 out. It'll go down a little bit here as Kuzmanov throws him out on the chopper. So now Jason Varitek with a 2-out runner in scoring position.
You know, I think of crazy things. When Boston wore this uniform, they did not wear the red sleeve. They wore the dark blue navy sleeves. And I know it's one game where they're wearing the, you know what I'm saying?
You're right.
But they did wear the red socks. And you know what pays off this uniform is the Red Sox, to where they had the white stripe, the blue stripe, the white stripe, and then the red stirrup.
Yeah.
I love those stirrups back in the day. Not a fan of the, and I know a lot of guys wear them. I don't like the full color sock. I just have never, listen to me, Mr. Fashion Statement.
Listen, I know that there are certain things that push your buttons. And don't worry about the fact that we have the best team from the American League against the best team from the National League here. First game of a 3-game series. Only the 7th game ever played between these 2 teams. We want to hear what you think about the Sox.
Sox are a good team.
And we want to hear about...
And the socks they wear, now that is what I like to see. The old school stirrups. Greg Maddux usually wears the 2-in-1. The one sock with the stripe down the side. That's important stuff, Matty.
I understand. Varitek in front 3-0. And we talked about Jason Varitek being drafted by the Seattle Mariners and the fact that he didn't want to play in Seattle. When Seattle picked him number 1 in '94, he held out and then signed 3 weeks before he was scheduled to report to the St. Paul Saints. He was going to play in the Northern League, independent ball. They engineered the deal that got him over to Boston, and he has been something of a New England folk hero ever since.
And now a force at any base. The right thing, just giving up the at-bat, and with the IW on your scorecard to Varitek with the right-handed hitting Pena, who is 0 for 2.
First pitch to William Opeña is beaten foul. Grounded into a double play in the second, grounded into a fielder's choice play in the fourth. Still just a 1-run lead for the Red Sox. Ground ball to third. Kuzminoff will do it the short way and force Ramirez to retire the side. On to the last of the sixth. It's still 2-1 Boston. Padres to the 2007 All-Star Game. Log on to Padres.com and cast your votes. Help make sure the Padres are well represented in San Francisco on July 10th. You can vote up to 25 times per email address. Represent the Friar. Vote today.
Like to see Adrian Gonzalez make a trip to San Francisco. Like to see Jake Peavy, which the pitchers, of course, are picked by the managers. This will be Jim Leland and Tony La Russa, the managers of the 06 World Series.
Khalil Green leads things off in the San Diego sixth. Green, Branyan, and Kuzminoff for the Padres. Greeny's the only guy in the lineup tonight that was in the lineup in 2004 when the Padres opened that series at Fenway Park. We talked about the 1-0 shutout loss they suffered against Pedro Martinez. These two teams have met in 2 separate series, and the Red Sox have taken 2 out of 3 in each of them. First time they met was back at Qualcomm Stadium. 2002 is the 0-2 to Green. Red Sox have a new right fielder. David Murphy has taken over in right for William Opeña. I'm not sure if this is an injury situation or if Murphy's just out there for defensive purposes. William Opeña has never been regarded as a defensive wizard. Still 0-2 to Greeny. Daisuke's up over 100 pitches, 105 and counting. We mentioned how he averages just around 110 per start. There is some bullpen activity for the Red Sox for the first time tonight. And there's a base hit for Khalil. The first time San Diego's had its leadoff hitter aboard since the first inning.
Four hits, four singles. A stolen base last inning in the fifth. See if Bud Black tries to get something going as Javier Lopez, the southpaw, heats up for the Red Sox.
Here's Russell Branyan now. Russ is struck out and flied to right. In on the hands and fouled away. Kuzminoff on deck. Daisuke missed the corner, 1-1 to Kevin Kuzminoff, who on Wednesday accounted for the only run of the game in San Diego's, or rather Branyan, whose only run of the game accounted for by that home run. Number 6 on the year for Russ. And Branyan behind 1 and 2.
Breaking ball fouled down the right field line. But we know Russell Branyan has some pop. You just saw that home run the opposite way. And with the third baseman Euclid way off the bag, if Russ can get something away and poke it that way, we're talking extra bases.
Swing and a miss. Got that fastball up. And that's 8 strikeouts for Matsuzaka tonight. Still got plenty of life, plenty of giddy up, some 110 pitches into the game.
And as Jason Varitek goes into the abbreviated stance, kind of a high crouch, that high fastball is by design. He has done that a couple times tonight.
So now Kevin Kuzminoff, 0 for 2 tonight. Again, got back into the lineup yesterday for the first time in about 2 weeks and went 1 for 4. The left-hander Javier Lopez continues to warm in the Red Sox bullpen. Pinch hitter on deck for San Diego, and that might be where you see the move. Trammell Sledgewaite's on deck. 1-1 to Kuz. When you consider what the Red Sox have on the disabled list right now, in terms of pitching, Kurt Schilling placed on the DL after a couple of really shaky starts after the near no-hitter in Oakland. Brendan Donnelly's on the 15-day DL, one of their key bullpen guys, the veteran former Angel. And that's to say nothing of Matt Clement, the former Padre, chewing up about $10 million worth of payroll. Still trying to rehab to get back in there in September, but the Red Sox have accomplished a lot with their pitching staff without Clement all year. Schilling for the next couple of weeks, and Brendan Donnelly on the DL. Two balls and 2 strikes to Kuzminoff.
It's almost like having good bench players who can fill in for guys who get hurt. Well, pitchers doing a good job, especially in that bullpen for Boston. And speaking of payroll, Matty, Boston, $143.1 million payroll. That doesn't even include the $51 million negotiating rights for Daisuke.
Must be nice, huh? You know, Red Sox Nation used to gripe about the Yankees buying a team every year. Hey, folks, take a look at yourselves now. And there's nothing wrong with it. The rest of us are jealous.
Hey, if you got it, flaunt it.
Absolutely. There's the 2-2 home. Full count now, 3-2 to Kuzminov, continuing to battle. Daisuke is up to 115 pitches. He has thrown as many as 130 in a start this year. And we have chronicled his rubber-armed exploits dating back to his high school years.
All it takes is one hanging fastball, one hanging slider about belt high.
Green stays put. The 3-2 to Kuz is bounced to third. Youkilis will throw him out, and there are two gone. Khalil to second. And now Termel Sledge is being pulled back, and it's going to be Chase Headley to swing it instead. So Buddy Black selects his switch hitter. Now Headley's being pulled back. Or wants a new lid.
Got to pull out the right lid there. Left side, right side, what side? You got to protect that right ear against the right-handed throwing Matsuzaka. I'm guessing there's going to be a double switch, man. I'm guessing Headley might go in to play third.
Two hits for Chase since being called up from AAA Portland, one from each side of the plate. When the Red Sox bat in their half of the seventh, they'll have the 8-9, then top of the order hitters. You have to guess this is going to be the last piece of business here for Matsuzaka, whether it's Headley or someone behind him. I can't imagine him being extended another inning tonight.
I think you're right. Well, Lopez is in ready mode down there in the Bo Sox bullpen.
A bouncer over the mound. Backhanded by Pedroia. The throw to first is not in time. Headley legs out an infield single to put runners at the corners.
I thought that ball was going to take one more hop as Pedroia gets this on the one hopper, two hopper, and reaching all the way across his body for the backhand, I think, is the difference in that play. But great hustle by Chase Headley to get to the top of the order. And now, which will be the fourth go-around for Marcus Giles.
Marcus has walked and scored, and then struck out in each of his next two plate appearances tonight. Behind 0-1. Remember, he's given a couple of baseballs a pretty good ride into that right field corner foul. And with Petro Portis poking out there, you tend to remember those foul balls a little more.
See that follow through by Matsuzaka?
0-2 the count to Giles. He was throwing 96 in the first inning. He's throwing 92 here, 120 pitches later, but he still has a giddy up on it.
That follow through was vintage Aki Otsuka with the high leg kick.
Oh, yeah. You know, remember Aki telling us about, you might not remember the conversations, but this, communication wasn't always easy. Aki did a great job trying. But I can clearly remember his telling a group of us, I'm not sure if you were there that day or not, about this kid, Daisuke Matsuzaka. And that was in 2004. He's been everything he's been advertised to be tonight. Ball and 2 strikes to Giles. He missed up top there by design.
Here's the previous pitch I was talking about. Watch on the follow through the leg kick.
Right-hander Manny Del Carmen is also up in the bullpen now, so they got the double barrel going down there for the Red Sox. Base hit ties it in the 6th. 2-2.
94. A couple of pitches ago, Daisuke was up to 96. This next pitch will be the 120. Well, photo finish. I got 125 here, 124 there. Do I hear 126?
We have a discrepancy. Remember, we said this earlier when he was at like 60-something pitches in the 3rd with 1 away. And we thought, you know, on this pace he's going to get through 5. For a guy that's thrown as many pitches as he has, to still be out there, even though it's only the 6th inning.
Yep.
He battles, man.
He's not even working up a ladder.
No.
It looks like the 1st inning. Calm, cool.
And collected. Daisuke strands a pair. Still 2-1 Red Sox. '16. Red Sox pitcher Babe Ruth throws a 3-hit shutout to beat the Yankees in a game that takes 1 hour and 18 minutes. Also known as a broadcaster's dream.
Got that right.
Clay Meredith on to work the top of the 7th inning. We spoke of Clay earlier and his coming to San Diego last year in the Josh Bard Doug Mirabelli swap, making his 33rd appearance on the year, and he gets Julio Lugo to lead it off for Boston.
Clay twirled the ball plateward yesterday against Baltimore. A couple of hits. He gave up a run. He walked one Oriole.
Twirled the ball plateward, did he?
That he did. You know, you get worn out every day. Last time he pitched, okay, whatever. Spice it up a little bit.
I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort. 0-1 the count to Julio Lugo. Well, Clay has pitched every other day in this past week's worth of games. Last 3 have been scoreless after that little hiccup that he went through in Tampa Bay. It's the moment we've been looking for, Mike.
Yeah.
We've been talking about this. We can't wait for the Red Sox to get here and for Clay Meredith to get into a game, for Josh Bard to get into a game. Josh will likely catch one of the 3 in this series.
And a chance for Clay Meredith to show off why the Padres are the #1 bullpen with an ERA of 2.43 in Major League Baseball.
Lugo taps it back to Meredith. 1 gone in the 7th. We mentioned earlier the 2 best bullpens by ERA in all of Major League Baseball, and San Diego a good half run lower than the Red Sox. But there's quite a drop off between San Diego in first place on that list, and then Seattle, Toronto in the middle 3s. The pinch hitter is Eric Hinsky. Two home runs in 64 at-bats for the former Blue Jay. One of them came on Wednesday in Atlanta. An 8th inning shot against Rafael Soriano. Part of an 11-0 Boston rout. Swing and a miss on strike 3. Barrett goes to corral it at the backstop and throws down to finish the out.
For a second there, I thought that was Rich Gedman going down the line.
Wow.
In that 86 or 84 Boston Uni.
How about the sweet follow through that Rich Gedman had on that swing?
You know what Bruce Hurst called that?
What?
The snorkel.
The snorkel? He had that helicopter thing on the top.
Finished off with the snorkel up above his head.
There's Coco Crisp now with 2 gone. Crisp has a couple of singles, a stolen base, and a caught stealing on his line tonight. Pedroia would be next with 2 gone. That sinker in for a strike, and it's 1-1. San Francisco still trailing the Yankees. That's a 6th inning score up north now. 6-2 Yankees the score there. We talked about the Dodgers winning earlier. The Rockies lost in extra innings. And Arizona, the final score now, defeated by the Orioles 7-1. Orioles gaining a little momentum. 2 balls and 2 strikes to Crisp. When San Diego bats in the last of the 7th, they'll have the 2, 3, 4 part of the order: Cruz, Gonzalez, and Cameron. Chopper off the plate, really high. Clay's got a bare hand, no chance to throw out Coco Crisp.
That's one of the negatives about being a submarine or sinker baller like Clay Meredith. You've got home plate, which is made of hard rubber, Matty, and when you hit something hard against home plate that's hard rubber, what happens? Super ball effect. And clearly Clay Meredith should have just hung on to that baseball. Thank goodness that ball didn't go down the line wildly, and the runner stays at first base.
See if Crisp tries to run now. He again has been thrown out once, stolen once successfully. Here's Dustin Pedroia. Clearly in a 1-run game with 2 gone late, this is the guy you want. You really want him when you look on deck and you notice David Ortiz, and especially when you note that David Ortiz has been quiet tonight, 0 for 3. Living really dangerously to try to keep a guy like that 0 for 4 with men on.
But if it gets to that point, and Clay Meredith, what a great matchup. Clay Meredith against David Ortiz, and see if Meredith can make his pitches.
Crisp's running. Tapper back to Clay. And nothing comes of the 2-out infield single. Seventh inning stretch at Petco Park. Red Sox on top by a run. Well, the Red Sox have gone to the bullpen. Daisuke has gone after 6 strong innings tonight, and Javier Lopez takes over on the mound, the former Arizona Diamondback, making his 25th appearance of the year. In his last 7 games, totaling just 3 innings, Lopez is not allowed to run. And if you go back farther still, his last 14 2/3, he's allowed just 2 runs over that time. So very stingy indeed has been the former Diamondback.
See Javier Lopez with the fastball, the slider, and the change, and that arm angle. He slings the ball from the low left side. And you know, when you sling the ball like that, like a Clay Meredith, he doesn't throw that hard. He's only about 84 to 88 miles an hour, so the mid-80s. A lot of times when guys throw that way, they try to overthrow, and the ball will flatten out. Control sometimes can be an issue with Lopez.
2 balls and a strike. The count to Jose Cruz Jr. Leading off the San Diego 7th. Cruz, Gonzalez, and Cameron. Offense at a minimum tonight. 2 runs on 8 hits for Boston. A run on 5 hits for San Diego. Grounder to third. Youkilis lays out and takes a knock away from Jose Cruz Jr.
Well, now everybody's diving. As the infielders go out to their positions, sometimes the coaches, sometimes players will yell, leather, leather. We're getting late in the game. You got to stop everything. If you can get to it, that's a nice play by Youkilis.
Lefty-lefty matchup now for Adrian Gonzalez. And Javier Lopez starts him with strike 1. One ball and 1 strike. Cameron next. He's walked twice tonight. Nobody up and throwing in the Red Sox bullpen. There are a couple of folks up there stretching. It's probably one of the more underreported aspects of the Red Sox success this year as Adrian has a little inside out opposite field single into left.
This has got to be difficult, even though during the course of the season we see Adrian against left-handers. He really does a nice job of keeping that front shoulder in there. It was almost like a jam shot, a pitch on the inside part, but elevating that pitch and enabling him to put it over the third baseman's head. As manager Terry Francona going to make a change.
With the right-handed hitting Mike Cameron scheduled, the Red Sox make a pitching change. Manny Del Carmen will be the new Red Sox reliever. A pitching change brought to you by San Diego Harley-Davidson, located downtown and in Kearney Mesa. We'll be right back. Daisuke Matsuzaka, Dominican-born right-hander Manny Del Carmen is the new Boston reliever. Mike Cameron, the batter, with Michael Barrett on deck, and a fastball swung on and missed.
Del Carmen can bring it. The right-hander can get it up there about 97. You see the limited work, 2 2/3. A curveball and a changeup. A very live arm. The ball just jumps out of this kid's hand. Once again, though, a hard thrower has issues sometimes with the walks. His minor league numbers, 16 walks in 31, that is, innings of work.
Back-to-back 97-mile-an-hour fastballs put Mike Cameron in a 0-2 hole. Dominican-born, Massachusetts raised, drafted number 2 out of West Roxbury High School. He gets Cameron to pop it up for Euclid. Well, what else can Michael Barrett do tonight? He has singled in San Diego's only run, 2 for 3. He's thrown out a would-be base stealer.
First home run as a Padre would be nice.
Yeah, that's okay. Breaking ball starts him with a strike. Manny Del Carmen had been around in the Red Sox minor league system for some time, and his was a name that Red Sox fans constantly heard, being that guy with potential closer stuff someday. He had to overcome Tommy John surgery really early in his professional career. He spent the last couple of seasons up and down between Major League Boston and AAA Pawtucket. misses high to make it 2-1 to Barrett.
Gosh, after seeing this kid throw the ball 97 miles an hour, I need some ice on my shoulder. My shoulder's starting to bark.
Khalil Green waiting on deck for San Diego. And Barrett laid on one of those 97-mile-an-hour fastballs. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Another breaking ball. This one's lined softly into center. It carries for Crisp, and another runner is left stranded. San Diego's left 10 on base. They trail by a run. Well, the new pitcher for San Diego's right-hander Scott Linebrink making his 30th appearance of the year and trying to hold this at a 1-run deficit for San Diego.
In the meat of the order, you've got 3, 4, 5 due up. Ortiz, Ramirez, Euclid. So why not have the hard-throwing right-hander Scott Linebrink enter the game? I've said this quite a bit, Matt. Trevor Hoffman, the closer, tries to save it in the 9th when the Padres are ahead. Well, even though they trail by 1, they need to save it here and hold the Bo Sox at 2.
It's been a while since Scott's been out there. This is his first appearance on the homestand. In fact, he last worked on Saturday in Chicago. Almost a week between appearances. Linebrink last worked at Wrigley Field on Saturday afternoon and gave up a hit, struck out a batter en route to a scoreless inning. He gets David Ortiz leading off the 8th. Ortiz has been quiet tonight. There's a good news, bad news scenario attached to that. Oh my. High and gets to right field.
Hang with him.
In shallow right. Is this one of those guys that you scoot up against the edge of your seat for?
Absolutely he is. He's fun to watch.
Well, he was a lot of fun to watch during batting practice today because David Ortiz, who likes to have fun when he plays the game, was having fun during BP this afternoon using an aluminum bat in honor of the College World Series. Listen to that horrible ping. And Ortiz sent some absolute bombs into the right field stands using the aluminum shillelagh.
You know, everything I hear about David Ortiz, a great guy, great teammate, likes to have fun, but once game time, it's go time. A lot of fun to be around, and puts up great numbers.
Manny Ramirez, the batter now, behind 0-1. Ramirez has a couple of hits tonight. Linebrink out there blowing it pretty good. 93 miles an hour on the fastball. There's no mistaking who that is, by the way. When you see the
It's almost Derek Bell-like, isn't it? Remember Derek Bell had the baggy britches?
I mean, it's baggy. He's got that Ozzie Guillen war helmet on there that he probably hasn't changed since his first year with the Red Sox. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Did you see Carl Yastrzemski wearing a uniform like that?
I can see Carl Yastrzemski not really digging that act. And I don't know Carl Yastrzemski. I'm just kind of talking out of turn here, but
it's all about comfort, huh?
Sure. And Ramirez slugs a fly ball into shallow right. Giles all the way out there from second base for out number 2. You know, we talked early in the season about how San Diego really outscored their opponents late in the ball game. And that was certainly true in the month of April. It's been a season-long issue for the Red Sox. Through innings 7 to 9, the Red Sox have almost doubled their opponent's scoring output. 120 runs to 65. And here's Youkilis now with 2 away. Ball and no strikes to Kevin Youkilis, who has 1 of the 2 RBIs tonight for Boston.
You know, the other thing about Boston as far as outscoring the opponents, when you look at innings 1 through 9, they've outscored their opponents in every inning with the exception of 2, the 5th and the 6th inning. Every other inning, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8, 9, outscoring. That's some serious output. But as you mentioned, late, doubling up, that's even more impressive.
And you know, when you kind of go inside of that, as each team plays more within its division, we saw firsthand how bad Toronto's or how bad Tampa Bay's bullpen is. We saw firsthand Baltimore's bullpen struggles, although they took 2 out of 3 in the series. It's pretty easy for your offense to get fat late in games when you're seeing those bullpens as often as the Red Sox do.
We got a little cheering war going on here. Let's go Padres, let's go Red Sox.
Fastball's taken for a strike on the corner. 3-2 the count to Kevin Youkilis. This is the biggest crowd of the year. 44,405. The 3-2 is swung on and missed. The 1-2-3 all business, 8th by Scott Linebrink. The Padres have 6 outs left to try to catch the Red Sox in the opener tonight. Oh, yeah, listen to you. Couple of changes defensively for Boston. Left-hander Hideki Okajima takes over on the mound.
Two lefties out of that bullpen for Terry Francona. We already saw Lopez in the 7th. Okajima, fastball, curveball, and a change. Always working out of the stretch. He is their 8th inning guy.
The defensive change behind him brings the veteran Mike Lowell in at third base. Lowell unable to start the last few games because of a left thumb problem. And that moves Kevin Youkilis to first. David Ortiz rotates out. Thank you. Khalil Green, the first to face Hideki Okajima.
That tells me Terry Francona's got some serious confidence in that bullpen, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
They've got a darn good one. You take the bat of Ortiz out of the lineup, hey, sure he's got some pop.
Khalil has one of San Diego's 6 singles tonight. Green, Branyan, and Kuzminov for San Diego scheduled, but we already see a pinch hitter on deck for San Diego as Hiram Boca Chica waits next. Hideki Okajima, by the way, has appeared in 5 of Boston's last 6 games. They had a day off yesterday, so you're not talking about consecutive outings and consecutive days. He strikes out Khalil Green. Okajima's 1.01 ERA is the second lowest among qualified relievers. The only one lower in all of Major League Baseball, San Diego's Kevin Cameron at .36. But this guy just hasn't been beat up at all. He just hasn't been hurt. Opponent's hitting 154, one of the lowest opposing batting averages in the American League. Here's Boca Chica now with the bases empty and 1 gone. And Hiram sends a soft liner to second for Pedroia, 2 away. We started mentioning this earlier, that it's kind of one of the more underreported aspects of the Red Sox, because Ortiz and Ramirez, they get a lot of attention because they drive in so many runs every year. You know, they talk a lot about Schilling and Daisuke now and the great starting staff they've got with Beckett and Wakefield. But this bullpen has really made such a difference for the Red Sox. Their bullpen struggled last year. And when you look at Red Sox teams in the past, I mean, even the great '86 team, that was not a lights-out bullpen. So Bob Stanley had like 90 appearances that year. I'm exaggerating, of course. But the Sox bullpen this season has been fantastic. And in my mind, it's the biggest reason for the turnaround.
That'll make any pitching coach like John Farrell very, very happy. By the way, Bob Stanley's the one who almost hit Mookie Wilson in the ankles. That went back to the spring, back in '86, Game 6.
1-1 the count to Kevin Kuzminov. Where are you, Dick Drago? Ellis Kinder, hello. Ball and 2 strikes, the count to Kuzminov. You know, one of those nights where you're just hoping somebody's going to run into something.
A bloop and a blast would be nice with 2 outs. Little number 51, heating up. So Trevor will pitch the 9th.
Trevor hasn't appeared on the homestand either. So he and Lineberg need to get a day in, need to get some work. Trevor going to go out there with the big sleeves like that?
Oh, yeah. Trevor's a sleeves guy.
I mean, they look loose. Full count, 3-2 to Kevin Kuzminov. Josh Bard on deck to pinch hit. Hoping for a 2-out chance. Jonathan Papelbon is up in the Boston bullpen, so both closers are up at this point. Papelbon was actually on the mound after BP, just kind of standing there, pacing out the new surroundings, never having pitched at Petco Park before. Swing and a miss. Hideki Okajima, every bit as important to the Red Sox pitching staff as their starter Daisuke Matsuzaka. Well, the left-hander selects a left-handed reliever here in the top of the 9th inning to try to keep it a one-run game. Royce Ring called back up from AAA Portland today. Good numbers on the farm. He got into 2 ball games as a big league Padre this year. And the former Aztec will go to work in the 9th on Jason Varitek to lead things off for Boston. Hiram Bocachica stays in the ball game. He takes over in right field. Jose Cruz Jr. moving to left. Well, Royce Ring is up, returned to the big league team today as Doug Brocail was placed on the 15-day disabled list. That was the move. Doug has a strained muscle in the derriere, the lower back, that has him on the shelf.
A nice advantage for Royce Ring on 80s retro night. He's got the 80s salad working. He's got the long hair, he's got the chops. Right out of the 80s.
Catches the corner to Varitek, who spun around to bat right-handed for the first time tonight. 1-2. Ring, the 4th pitcher used by the Padres tonight. And the fastball strikes out Varitek, 1 gone. Seaside Buick Pontiac GMC take us beyond the Friday night box score. The Dodgers double up the Devil Rays. Luis Gonzalez with a big day in Tampa, his hometown. And a final score out of Phoenix. The Orioles win their 3rd in a row. They cuffed around Brandon Webb early in that one and beat him 7-1.
Sinker was not sinking for Brandon Webb, it looks like. Talked to Buddy Black before the game about Royce Ring and what he was working at in AAA. Command of the strike zone on the outside part of the plate, 2 left-handed hitters. Breaking ball, fastball away like that. Thank you very much. And where did that miss? As I start to beg. Ain't too proud to beg. Sweet darling.
1 ball and 1 strike. The count to David Murphy, who came on defensively a couple innings ago. He too was recalled from AAA today. Well, that's a good pitch. Talk about getting the outside corner to a left-handed batter. The breaking ball was big.
Exactly what we're talking about, what Buddy Black was talking about. Command, the breaking ball, and fastball. That was a dandy of a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate.
Struck him out. Yes, he did.
Oh, my. Can't hold up on that one.
When the Padres bat in the last of the 9th, they'll have the number 9 spot, then the top of the order, Giles and Cruz. So a pinch hitter, and then Giles and Cruz in the last of the 9th. Jonathan Papelbon will likely work for Boston. Been up for a while, and he's just throwing to stay loose at this moment. Julio Lugo 0 for 3. And behind 0-2.
What a great way for Royce Ring to get back up to the big leagues and be in a pressure-packed game like this, 1-run game, late, holding the Red Sox to a 2-1 lead, and then go to have his guy take some hacks in the 9th.
Royce Ring strikes out the side in the 9th.
Bring him up.
Last of the 9th, Friars down a run. Whose 94.1% save conversion ratio is one of the best in the American League. He's looking for number 17 tonight. Papelbon has been stingy. Opponents batting just $154. As he'll go to work in the 9th inning for Boston.
Well, the Padres hitters are going to have to turn up the dial on this hard-thrown right-hander. 97-mile-an-hour fastball, sometimes 98. A biting slider and a split-finger fastball. That's tough to catch up to or stay pace on when you're looking for that high heater in the high 90s. Matt, you mentioned it earlier, and it's worth bringing up again. As the ground crew was picking up the pieces after batting practice, putting away the cage, putting away the tarp that covers the mound, Papelbon, after shagging an outfield, he went up to the mound and was checking out the landing area, checking out the slope of the mound. And what do you know? He's on familiar territory now because he's already scoped out the digs out there on the mound.
You rarely see that.
Right.
You know, even from a guy who's a younger guy like Papelbon. So often you'll take for granted the fact that a mound is a mound, but Papelbon was out there to get a first-hand look at it. Most recently for Papelbon, back on the 19th in Atlanta. He pitched a scoreless inning in a non-save situation. Termel Sledge is the pinch hitter leading things off for San Diego.
Need a bloop and a blast, Matty.
Well, it is as loud as it was when this ball game began. Biggest crowd of the year on hand to witness it. A ball and no strikes to Termel Sledge. As a pinch hitter this year, Sledge is 2 for 12. 1-1.
Tough duty coming off the bench and having to face a guy like Papelbon. The top of the order waits next.
Split swung on and missed. When leading after 8 innings this year, the Red Sox are an astounding 43-1. And we have seen exactly why. Two best bullpens in baseball squaring off tonight. Struck him out.
Fastball, split, high cheese. You often hear in baseball lingo guys throwing cheese. That's some sharp cheddar right there.
So now Marcus Giles, who has struck out 3 times tonight, walked and scored. Give a lot of credit to the Red Sox front office, converting Papelbon to a closer. 35 saves last year for the Red Sox. A strike to make it 1-1 to Marcus Giles. That conversion began in 2005 when he was at Double-A. They moved him into a relief capacity. Though in his rookie season with the Red Sox in 2005, he did start 3 games. 2 balls and a strike. 26-year-old right-hander. 4th round draft selection back in 2003. One gone, bases empty. San Diego down a run. That is just gas. Absolute gas. 95 miles an hour.
You look at this bullpen, you can see why they've got a great bullpen. Okajima had the great changeup. Del Carmen threw 97. Papelbon's thrown 95. 2 great bullpens at Petco Park tonight.
Marcus just gets a little piece of that to stay alive.
Don't forget Clay Meredith. 1 inning, 1 hit, no runs. Struck out 1. Lineberg, 1 inning, 1 strikeout. Royce Ring him up 3 times. 3 punches. The thing that's hurt the Padres tonight, they've left 10 runners on base.
Ten runners left on base through 7 innings. You know, you get back to that bases loaded situation in the first, and we didn't say it at the time, but you were hoping in the back of your mind that only 1 run with bases loaded, nobody out, wouldn't end up costing. Well, it was the first inning. Who's thinking of that then? Papelbon set, they're 3-2. Fly ball into right field. Murphy and 2 away. The 97-mile-an-hour fastball. Strike one to Cruz. We encourage you to stay with us after the final out's recorded, whenever that may be. The Lexus postgame show follows play-by-play on Channel 4. Papelbon misses the corner 1-1, and should Cheo get on base, Adrian Gonzalez will have an opportunity. The Red Sox win this one. They will be 22 games over 500.
Got to get Adrian Gonzalez up to the plate with Cruz on.
Yeah, 22 games over 500, by the way, their highest such mark since August of last year. They brought the best road record into this game. 94-mile-an-hour fastball swung on and missed. Padre hitters have struck out 12 times tonight. This sounds like Trevor Hoffman should be in the game, and it's the top of the ninth. Listen to the Red Sox fans making noise here at Petco. My goodness, this is amazing. And Padre fans watching tonight, don't feel bad, because Red Sox fans have been doing this for years. They do it in Anaheim. They do it if this was a Dodger Stadium series right now. Cruz lines into right. A base hit with 2 gone in the ninth. A faint flicker of hope. And now Adrian.
Stayed on that fastball nicely. And, you know, right off the bat, when I saw Murphy coming in, I thought he was going to have a chance at that ball. And as an outfielder, you can kind of think, you know what? It's a one-run game. Do I take the chance of trying to picking that one off the grass and maybe going by me for extra bases? Or do I play it safe and keep it in front of me?
Got to keep reminding myself that it's June 22nd and not September 22nd. Because there is such a fantastic atmosphere in this ballpark tonight. One that we know will continue tomorrow and Sunday. 1 ball and no strikes, the count to Gonzalez. Adrian 1 for 3. He singled in the 7th.
Need a little June magic here.
Juno. Mike Cameron, the on-deck hitter. And Varitek wants to chat with his reliever. Jonathan Papelbon has only allowed 2 home runs this year.
But to go 2-0 against Adrian Gonzalez, it's been fastball away, fastball away.
The 2-0 home to Adrian.
No.
The home plate umpire Brian Knight says that this catches the
ball
corner.
is off the plate. Wow. See,
Changes things a little.
oh, you think?
From 3-0 to 2 balls and a strike. Two and two.
I think Adrian might be trying to change his luck a little bit also. Remember he had the white shin guard on his last at bat? Now he's got the black shin guard on. Protecting that right leg. Whatever it takes, right?
Whatever it takes.
Now you've got to deal with the 95-mile-an-hour fastball. You have to deal with the split finger Papelbon.
It's the split finger that's been such a problem pitch for left-handed batters. Lefties are 4 for 49 against Jonathan Papelbon this year. And there it is to end the game. Wow. The Boston Red Sox not flashing the big offense that they've been known for so long, but flexing muscle in the bullpen. And in this battle of Major League Baseball's two best relief corps, neither one gives up a run. But Boston with the 2-run fourth, able to hang on and claim the series opener. 2-1 Red Sox, the final score. Mud and I are back with the final totals right after this.